How we doing?
All good, all good. It's been a busy trip.
It's been quite busy. So, I've been in Wales now with you for a few days.
Yeah, it's been a lot.
I'm knackered, I'm not going to lie. I'm
Yeah?
not exactly physically fit.
Yeah, that's fine.
So, the first question basically is what got you into exploring?
So, I had just lost 2 jobs. I wasn't doing anything in my life. I was sat at home watching horror movies all the time. I watched one horror movie and it kind of changed everything for me. But as I lost 2 jobs, depression kicked in and I don't know, I guess suicidal thoughts kicked in. I was self-harming. I didn't know where I belonged. Didn't know what I wanted to do. I was drinking quite a fair bit, and yeah, by the end of it I was on suicide watch, and I needed to do something rather than just like watch horror movies and just do nothing, just piss money down the drain basically. And yeah, I watched one film and it had a haunted asylum in it, and I was like, oh, I wonder if there's a haunted asylum near here, like near where I live in Kent. And I was like, you know what, I was like, I'll have a look. And that's pretty much all I used the internet for, was zilch nothing other than buying new horror movies. So I bought a couple of movies, looked online, and I came across a place called Steep Park Manor, which was nicknamed Potter's Manor. And I knew I had to get out of the house after being a recluse for like 2 years. And yeah, I had that drive to go have a look. Not necessarily for the ghost aspect, but yeah, just to do something with my life and get myself out of it. Get myself out of this depression and suicidal state I was in. And yeah, I went to that first location and it changed things for me. It made me realise that the world is much bigger and there's so much to see. And yeah, I ended up snapping all my cigarettes. I quit smoking just to fund going to these places. And I bought myself a tiny little compact camera, about so big. Bought myself a tripod, which if you open the legs too far, that'd snap. You know, it was just shit, to be honest.
Yeah,
but,
it's a very, very basic.
Yeah, I mean the tripod.
Budget basic.
The tripod cost me probably about £5. The camera was £20. It was like a 4 megapixel thing. And yeah, I just got that drive to go check out this place. And when I entered this mansion, it was like a very cliche, but time outside didn't matter. What mattered was being inside. And like your mind zones in on that time where it was abandoned and it was just left. And then all of a sudden you're taking pictures. Now obviously I didn't know that there was a lot of people out there doing this stuff. I just looked up the closest place to me, you know, and
so you wasn't really aware of
I had no idea that there was a community, should we say. Yeah, I mean it was like forums and stuff. I had no idea that there was forums for this shit. But the first time I joined the forum I got banned because I don't really have a filter and I was a bit more outspoken and they didn't like that. But by then I'd done a lot of local places and I developed a bit of a knack for it. So.
Obviously you mentioned, so you went through a depression stage. How do you feel that exploring helped you?
It gave me a purpose. So I guess that when you do abandoned places, they're abandoned for a reason.
Whether it be history, whether it be time.
Like we've done a few over our trip. Houses I'm always drawn to, and I see that abandoned place as something I relate to. And if I can document it and photograph things that might, you know, people will see the picture and they'll be like, oh,
would you then class it as abandoned if you've been in there and documented it, or it's still abandoned? Obviously,
yeah, it's abandoned as soon as I leave.
Yeah,
if that makes sense.
It's like you're inhabiting it.
People that do this hobby, a lot of them don't feel they fit in anywhere. It helped me in a way that it gave me something to focus on. It gave me a point of preference.
Yeah.
It gave me a bit of encouragement to get out of the house after not really leaving for 2 years. And I was always looking for something. So the next buzz, the next adrenaline rush comes.
The next big thing.
Yeah, I mean, like you could sit at home and watch TV all day and do absolutely fuck all. You could go do a mundane job, work your ass off, and still have no money at the end, kind of thing. And you know, you don't get out of that routine, and routine is shit. And doing something like this brings you to new places. It gives you experiences.
I suppose, as you said, it opens you up to meeting other explorers as well.
Other people that are like you.
It forces you to communicate.
Yeah, but it also allows you to meet other people that are like you, if that makes sense. Like, as me and you would know, we've gone in and out of jobs and we fucking hated them. And doing something like this, alright, you know, your life is your life, my life is mine. We've come here, we've visited places, I've got back into the swing of it, and you know, it's now given me a bigger drive, because I'm thinking like, okay, well I've seen some cool shit on this trip, but the next trip's better, you know, so you're always planning ahead. And I feel that if you don't have a goal to focus on, you can slip, you can become quite depressed again.
Yeah.
You can just do everything mundane and everything's a routine and everything's shit again, kind of thing. So, yeah, it just gives you a focal point.
So how long have you been doing this, like exploring?
So you said what, 16, 17 years that we worked out?
Yeah.
But I think as soon as you're a child, you're exploring. You just lose it when you're an adult.
You sort of get set into a routine.
Like think of a baby walking around the room, it's picking up things, it's looking at things, it's seeing things that are new. It's exactly what I'm doing, it's just we're doing it as an adult. We're still exploring, we're seeing new things.
Yeah.
So yeah, ever since you're born, you're exploring. Just some people lose the knack for it.
So what kind of places have you been to?
So in the whole 16, 17 years, or as I've been doing this?
As you've been doing, yeah.
Okay, so you have mansions, you have regular rural houses, you have little dwellings, you have little shacks, you have hospitals, asylums, you have churches, as we've just done one, tunnels, caves. I used to climb cranes, that was another buzz of mine. But yeah, you name it, I've probably explored it. But out of all of them, I find mansions, houses and mortuaries the most intriguing.
Obviously you said that you go on the road used to go on the road quite a bit.
Yeah.
What does your family think about your hobby, your passion?
So when my grandmother was alive, I told her what I was doing. She was like, okay, go have fun. And I was just like, she ain't got a clue. Like, when I started, you saw people taking big risks. And it wasn't so much an Instagram or a YouTube or a Facebook thing, it was just a forum thing. So to see decent places, you'd go on the forum at the weekend to see what everyone got up to. Now it's all about ego or something. But yeah, my grandmother, when she was alive, she loved looking at my pictures and so on. And as my father was in and out of my life, staying at, he moved in with his girlfriend, came back home for a couple of years and moved off with a new one. He just said I'll be locked up by the time I'm 21. But he knows I'm good at it. He knows it's something that, I'm interested in. It's something that's never really left.
No.
I think once you start urban exploration, it's in your veins, you're interested, you want to find more. So he knows I'm good at it, he knows I take precautions.
Yeah.
But he also knows I've been arrested. He also knows that I've fallen through floors, and he also knows that I've had concussions and I've snapped tendons and broken bones and stuff, so not so much.
So when you describe your hobby or / passion to friends and other family members, how do they react?
So my nan used to love looking at my pictures after I'd done a trip. It's one of the things I miss now. She's dead, obviously. I've done stuff after she passed away, and I was like, I bet she would love to. But friends like yourself, at a time you were like, that sounds pretty cool. You used to see my pictures like, that's pretty cool. So you probably thought it was like a cool hobby type thing. I have no idea.
Yeah,
now you've done it, has it changed?
A bit, yeah. You're intrigued with the location, the surrounding. You're using your brain. You're using your muscles to, as you said, not break into these places, but gain access through holes, through.
It's puzzle solving.
Yeah.
So after looking at my pictures for so many years, and then all of a sudden going, okay, I'm going to do this documentary thing with him, and you've seen a couple of locations. Has it now changed being there? Now you're in that room with me, seeing it.
Yeah, as I said, it used to intrigue me with the history of the places, or the information that you found, or the trinkets, the little
knickknacks.
Yeah, the knickknack bits. That had a purpose.
Yeah.
Like letters. That has a purpose. And now I've actually experienced it. It's just reinforced that idea.
Yeah.
It's there is a lot of history in these places that you do go in.
Yeah.
And
sometimes you can put the history together.
Yeah.
You can find letters, and you can find out, so and so lived here. I think the most interesting thing was I come across World War I and II letters, and that was interesting because obviously he was sending them home to his wife and kids. And I literally spent a good couple of hours reading through them inside this house, and I was literally lost in their relationship. It was really fascinating to know what it was like when you don't have phones and internet and stuff, and all of a sudden they're sending letters home, and you can imagine as you're in that room, or in the living room, you can imagine his wife just sat there waiting for a letter. And you're like, damn, it really takes you out of the norm, which is out there, and it puts you in a place where it's just you. Time stands still, and that's it. And
so
obviously,
would you say that drives you to
yes.
find out history?
Yeah. I mean, like I said, when I started this, I was looking for something.
Yeah.
Like I've met people along the way that are also looking for something. Whether they still do it now or not is a different matter. But they are looking, you know.
Would it be a search for knowledge, search for history, search for
search
the
of
unknown?
Belonging? Where do you belong? Kind of thing. Like, you know, there's certain places I've done where it hits home quite hard. When my uncle passed away, my uncle loved my photography. Sorry, I didn't mention. He loved my photography and said I should do a book. So in 2016, I self-published it, as you know, and it did really, really well. And I thought that was it. You know, I thought I'm done. You know, when he passed away, I was like, I'm done. And yeah, I couldn't go into a couple of houses because of, obviously I cleared out his house, so I saw what it was like. And now when I go into an abandoned house and I see boxes of items put in corners of rooms,
yeah, it triggers a memory.
Yeah, I'm like, wow, this person's died, this family's clearing it out. And then, you know, I had the friends and people that were like, oh, I've got a shed if you want to explore it. And I'd have people that were like, oh, yeah, because they'd kind of joke about it.
So not fully understand.
No one understands unless you do it.
Yeah.
As you found out.
Oh no, I totally agree.
But yeah, I dragged them along for the ride. They've become obsessed. They enjoyed it. They loved it. I've taken people that have never done this before, and I've looked out for them, told them the dangers, and they've literally followed me. And like, I go to that person's strengths. Like yourself, you can get into a hole, you can climb. You've probably pushed yourself a lot this week. Well, this weekend-ish.
Yeah,
type
I've taken myself out of my comfort zone a couple of times. Yeah, at least.
And literally, I've been like a rocket towards these places, and you've been like, "Oh, will he slow down?" And, you know, so. But yeah, my friends used to laugh until they did it, and then they become obsessed, and then they see what they're doing. And to be honest, like, there's a reason I'm friends with these people like yourself. Me and you get on really well. Me and my other friends get on really well. So there's a reason why we click in the first place. You know, so maybe that is a reason. You know, we found something that we're interested in that we can both relate to on different levels. Yeah. So that's why you make friends, and that's why you have hobbies together, I guess.
Cool. We'll take a little break, Glover. Okay, so we're back. That was a nice break. So start off strong. So what would you say was your favourite place that you've been?
In the UK, I would say... Okay, so if I give you a little bit of a list, my favourite church ruin is Cold Christmas. There's a lot of history there. You'll probably find most of it out on the internet if people decide to watch us. But yeah, so that's my favourite church ruin. It's meant to be haunted. It's very satanic, or it was classed as satanic. But I'm not one for churches and stuff, so you know, churches are my least favourite near factories. I'm not interested in those. Because obviously you can find out what the building was, you can find out what the building manufactured. It's a factory at the end of the day. It's not interesting. They're the least amount.
It's not a great deal of
history, I mean, unless you come across the owner or information about him and how he made or built his, you know, whatever, built his factory or whatever.
So whether it was like a solo factory,
in
a chain kind of stuff.
Yeah, I mean, they don't tick my boxes. There's nothing personal to them. Churches, they're peaceful.
We all have our favourites.
I mean, churches are peaceful and all, but unless there's something about them, I'm not really that interested. But yeah, Cold Christmas as a church.
Yeah.
So I've done loads of houses. They're all rather unique and special for their own reason. Like, there's a lot of urban explorers out there that really love the industrial side of rusty pipes and stuff, so, you know, like I said, everyone has their preferences. But my favourite, I guess it would come as an industrial site, is George and Barnsley shoe cobbler repairs. Very big, very beautiful, very decayed, loads of little knick-and-knack bits left, like little tacks you'd put in your shoe and stuff.
Yeah.
That was really nice in 2015. That's one that I think is my most favourite.
My favourite of the least favourite stuff.
Yeah, but you can still get into that one.
Yeah.
So if you know the route, you can get in.
You said obviously about haunted stuff. So have you been into many haunted places? And I suppose the ultimate question is about ghosts.
When I started this, everyone used to be like, "Oh, it looks like The Walking Dead or Silent Hill." They just used to be like, "Oh, have you ever seen a ghost? You know, is it haunted? Is it dangerous?" And you're like, no, I'm not a believer at all. There's nothing supernatural I believe in, but there's been instances where I think like, how's that possible? How is that possible? And I'll give you a couple of preferences, or give you a couple of examples of what I've experienced. So I got inside this house, and first thing you do inside the house is you check upstairs. You make sure, obviously, no one's sleeping up there, squatting up there. I always start upstairs and work my way down. I'll get in when it's dark as well, so you take the chance. Anyway, I'd explored upstairs, photographed it, went downstairs, photographed it, went back upstairs, and I thought, right, now time for some close-ups. As I went back into one of the bedrooms, which I think must have belonged to the woman that owned the house, there was a strong smell of perfume. And I was just like, wow.
But yeah, no one sprayed it.
Exactly. I didn't knock anything over, and that just really baffled me. I was like, how's that possible? You know, how does this now smell of perfume?
Not necessarily haunted, but
there was something there, right?
There's something.
I had a crew, which I called the 13th Hour. We did a mortuary up in North Wales, where we are, and I think it was a hospital of some sort. Anyway, we did the morgue, and yeah, it was an experience. We did the hospital, that was fine. I mean, a couple of the people I was with got scared by the pigeons and trap. As we've experienced, there's pigeons in places. And
they do love a good abandonment.
Yeah, and anyway, we got to the morgue and we heard a whisper. Now, bearing in mind, it's just one long corridor. You know, it's like an empty building kind of thing, like a building away from the hospital. And there was a corridor, so we climbed in through the window, walked down the corridor, opened the doors, there's the mortuary fridge, right? So as we're in there, we're taking our pictures, lighting the place up, light painting the thing. And yeah, we heard a whisper, and then we heard footsteps. So I opened the door to make sure it weren't security walking down the corridor. Right? No one. And we never figured it out either. And then the other place, which I think is probably, like I said, not a believer, but when you walk into a room and a record player starts playing, that has a different aspect on the experience.
So would you say that was the most scariest that you've been in, or has there been?
Put me on edge, because a while after the front door knocked, and there was no one there. And I was like, okay. Now the person I was with wanted to fucking get out, but I carried on, type of thing. I was like, nah, fuck it, I'm going to carry on.
So, you obviously, going back to the earlier questions, you said you've had a break.
Yeah.
Why get back into it now?
So, my life's changed. A book was released. I thought I was done. You know, I'd accomplished what I wanted to do. Mm-hmm. And that was it. I was done. I'd had enough. Then I saw that there was hikers that had died climbing up a mountain, and I was like, you know what, I want to experience that. I want to climb a mountain, and like there's like a little, it's called the Dove Crag, I think, or the Dove Craig or something. The Priest Cove is the better name. Yeah, I wanted to sleep up a mountain. I wanted to do the walk, so 11.5 miles walk, 7-hour drive, 11.5 miles walk, and then it was 1,017 foot climb, and it was like a goat climb. So
quite steep.
Yeah, after you did 11.5 miles in a day, after travelling through the night.
Extremely.
Yeah, obviously I've used seen I can be like a rocket, I can keep on going. The people I went with were slugging behind and they couldn't keep up, and I was like, you know what, I'm just going to keep going. In the end I ended up climbing up this mountain and got them up 2 at a time, and then yeah, I was up there. But we'd left at like 4 o'clock in the morning. We got there by 8, I think, maybe. It's a bit of a blur really.
Yeah.
But we got there at like 8, and yeah, we climbed that mountain and we did the walk, and like I still could have carried on, you know. It was a piece of piss, but the views from it were nice. But after I did that, I was like, you know what, I might do the odd couple of abandoned places. So we did a couple of abandoned places on the way back, and I started getting a bit more of a love for it again, because when you see...
Re-sparked passion.
Yeah, I mean, there's so many people on YouTube and everywhere else that will literally just say, like, you know, they hold their phone out in front of them and they'll be like, hi, I'm exploring with bullshit. And you're just like, yeah, I've seen it all before. They need the ego trip. They need to be internet famous. They need certain things about them, mate. It's not worth it. They'll go with their friends to a crack den and claim there's like a dead body in it, you know. And that ruined it for me, because what was once such a secretive hobby soon got exposed very quickly. You had people selling shit to papers, making money. You had all the same locations across social media. No one had done anything different. It was like follow the leader.
So what would you say the basic equipment, like, obviously we talked a little bit about entry level stuff.
Yeah, I mean,
what would you say was the basic equipment that you would need to not get started, but just fair enough.
A torch, because that's always going to help. A phone. You know, you don't. If you're taking, like I said, if you're taking it the photography route, then get a camera, get an entry-level camera. You don't need anything expensive. You're going into fucking shitholes at the end of the day. You're going into grotty places. Get yourself a cheap second-hand camera. Yeah, get yourself a cheap second-hand camera. A couple of prime lenses for your nice close-up detail shots. And just, yeah, learn. Just learn. That's all you need to do is learn. Fucking mug. I'm caked.
Is there any more basic equipment that you might need?
So, if you're doing video, obviously, vlogging camera perhaps, don't just get your fucking iPhone out. You know, you look pathetic, really. You're not taking it seriously. Bit of a joke, really. But yeah, GoPro or something like that, something just to document it if you're going the video route.
So obviously there is loads of different routes. You can go photography route, there's videographer.
Yeah. I mean, you don't have to take photography. I mean, a lot of people do photography because they enjoy taking pictures. It's their hobby, you know. As I said earlier, I lost my passion for it when I was watching my Instagram and social media pages clog up at the same places. I ended up hating my camera, hating the hobby, hating a lot about it. And then, after about 6 months, I was back into it again, and my little love for photography came back. And yeah, I felt like I was back on it again. And then yeah, it took off again. I was back exploring new places, new content, meeting new people, you know. So.
Obviously, like, going on with meeting new people and stuff, we had a little chat in the car yesterday, I believe.
Yeah.
You said something about obviously going abroad and different things like that.
Yeah.
Have you been abroad?
Yeah. I made it my mission to go to America. I took a friend of mine and we went to Texas, and we explored around Texas. That was good fun. Like I said, I can live out a backpack. It makes no difference where I place my head as long as I'm enjoying what I'm doing. You know, you're always going to be happy when you're doing something you love.
Yeah.
And yeah, I don't want to get into that slump again. So, but yeah, I went to Texas for my first trip with a friend of mine who was part of the 13th hour crew when I started. It was a good week. And then yeah, I came back and I was like, oh, I've done Texas, now I need to go somewhere else. You know, like, where do I go now? So instantly my thought was like, you know, somewhere a bit bigger, like New York, somewhere.
Sort of more built up, more places. That
I mean, Texas is very hostile. You know, it can feel hostile. But yeah, it was an experience. Like, I flew into Pennsylvania, met up with people, explored around Pennsylvania, Ohio, Cleveland, Philadelphia, camped, went to New York, hated it, too busy. It's like London on like fucking drugs.
London on steroids.
Yeah, it is very heavy. Wasn't a good experience, that New York one. Then we travelled back, did some other places. Had a good laugh with it. Was on the road for a couple of weeks, give or take. And then flew back. My grandmother had just passed away, so I wanted to get out of that house. Then a couple of months had passed and I flew back out there again. And I was like, right, second time, go, let's go. So yeah, the USA is the only place that I've really honed in on. But, you know, it's a moment, so. Go ahead.
No, it's just that was a very good, picturesque moment. Where it was,
I like the fact we know it rained last night.
Oh yeah.
And
like the grass is glistening. You can see the water on the leaves.
Yeah, it's just
and that
dripping
mist
down
just rolling through.
Yeah.
So obviously is this documentary that you are in the process of.
Yeah.
Is this a one-time thing, or do you plan on doing more?
So, like I said, I can't stand the people that walk around with their iPhones saying I'm going to crack them with my best mates, and then they'll do a live video. I hate that. It's not going to be a one-time thing, though. This is a build-up to what's to come.
Okay. So, do you want to sort of like string things, like string documentaries for, like, have an area?
So basically what I'm going to do is I'm going to do a series, create an urban exploration series, and I'm going to call it Abandonment Issues. So the next time people see me, it'll be in my new series, Abandonment Issues. And I'm not sure how or what style I'm going to document it in yet.
Okay.
But yeah, we're travelling Europe. We're hitting locations, and it's not going to be, like I said, some teenager in a crack den. But no, this is part of a bigger thing. And,
obviously, this is sort of a video documentary sort of thing.
Yeah.
Are you going to keep doing photos? Are you going to keep posting them, or?
Yeah.
Like, keep your collections?
I might just take the odd few. I don't need to document places like I used to. I know what they are. I know what I photographed. I know what I'm doing. But yeah, so yeah, I'll still be taking pictures. I'll have a website up, and this will go out on possibly the 31st of October. Nice little drop in for Halloween. And yeah, like I said, it's got to be a new chapter in my life, and one that I feel I should take, one that I know that would work. So yeah, my new, I guess my whole project is called End of the World. Follow me, and yeah, we'll be starting abandonment issues as soon as possible. Anyway, cheers. Well, thanks for the.
You're welcome.
Thanks for the talk. And yeah, it's been great. It's been a fun trip.
It has indeed.
It has. It's been a really fun trip. Thanks for joining me.
No,
I know you've been up and down the roads. And we've been gallivanting around and seeing new things, and you know, it's all an experience.
It is indeed.
All an experience. See ya.
Take care.